So there is a really big report slash rumor going around right now that Kevin Feige might be thinking about leaving Marvel Studios, then heading over to Star Wars, which would most likely mean that he would take the job of Kathleen Kennedy, which many Star Wars fans might welcome. A lot of people are talking about this report right now, and the reason we're talking about this today is because we actually talked about it on our podcast a few times many months ago. Also, if you are not aware, our podcast is on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Just search the Cosmic Wonder Podcast. Podcast is in the title name. But before this report came out from an insider, we did talk about this because this kind of seems like something that Kevin Feige might actually do. Kevin Feige built the MCU. He started us off with Iron Man, then he gave us the Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and then of course Avengers Endgame, one of the biggest movies of all time. Before Avatar re-released, it was the biggest movie of all time. Gave us some of the best movies period of all time. And now he's building something huge. Say what you want about Phase 4 and Phase 5 and how Marvel Studios is doing right now. What he's taking on is a really big endeavor to tackle the multiverse, the Marvel multiverse, and bring it all together for a giant Avengers movie is a huge endeavor. And I think Kevin Feige can pull this off based off of what we've heard so far. And the report is that Kevin Feige is thinking about leaving Marvel for Star Wars, specifically after Secret Wars. So basically Kevin Feige would finish the next saga, which right now is the multiverse saga of the MCU, and after his huge film, Avengers Secret Wars, he would leave. He would go on to something new. And today we'll talk about if this could actually happen. This report is coming from the insider My Time to Shine Hello, who stated in a tweet, Kevin Feige is thinking about leaving Marvel after Secret Wars and take over the Star Wars franchise. Now, one, we already know that Kevin Feige was and is, as far as we know, going to make a Star Wars film. This is confirmed. Disney announced this. Star Wars announced this. He's producing the movie. He's going to be working with Kathleen Kennedy, but this report is very different. This report says that he's going to take over the Star Wars franchise, which means he would take over Kathleen Kennedy's job. Now, most Star Wars fans haven't exactly been too thrilled with Kathleen Kennedy over the years. And despite whatever you think about the MCU right now, we do know that Kevin Feige knows how to build a huge connected universe. Kevin Feige proved what he is absolutely capable of with Iron Man all the way to Avengers Endgame, the entire Infinity Saga. Plus, not to mention, he did this by working with Jon Favreau, who plays a huge part with Disney and Lucasfilm and Star Wars. So he would be working with him essentially again to build a huge universe, build on what has already been built in the past, because of course Star Wars is already a really big universe and franchise, one of the biggest in the world. But here's the question, would Kevin Feige actually do this? Now, the report says Kevin Feige is thinking about leaving Marvel after Secret Wars and take over Star Wars. The wording of this is kind of interesting because My Time to Shine Hello states that he is thinking about it. This implies that an offer of some sort has already been made. That's what he is thinking about. Because although Kevin Feige is huge, he's a massive industry person and does have a lot of power and credentials behind his name. If he just wanted to take over Star Wars just by saying it, that doesn't really make it so. He can't just go to Disney and say, hey Marvel, I want Star Wars now. Actually, if anybody had the best chance of going to Disney and saying that and making it so, it would be Kevin Feige. But this does imply that Disney has already talked to him about it. A lot of people have been complaining about Star Wars lately, and Disney might be looking to Kevin Feige to kind of switch it up a bit for Star Wars, which means they would switch it up for Marvel as well since Kevin Feige wouldn't be there. And what's interesting is I would say Jon Favreau could either go to Marvel or Star Wars, taking over a big part of it, if not the whole entire thing for each franchise. But again, could this actually happen? The tweet is worded in a way that makes us believe that an offer has been extended to Kevin Feige, or at least a discussion has been had. Now, there's one singular argument for Kevin Feige taking over Star Wars that could actually go both ways. It could either tell us that he is indeed going to leave Marvel and take over Star Wars, or there's no way he's going to do that, at least not for another 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or so after Secret Wars. And it all comes down to the X-Men. But first, big thank you to Highland Titles for sponsoring this video. Before we leap back into the world of superpowers, I've got something truly extraordinary for our noble listeners. Imagine that you, yes you, can become a lord or lady for just $30. Buying a plot of land from highlandtitles.com will allow you to make use of a Scottish tradition in which landowners are given a courtesy title. With more than 15,000 5-star reviews, the Highland Titles gift pack is an incredibly popular gift, and the Highland Titles app, available available from the app and Play stores, is a new edition that allows you to explore a 3D replica of the land. Choose the location of your plot and decorate it using augmented reality. Embrace the majesty as every purchase helps to conserve the awe-inspiring, heroic beauty of the Scottish wilderness. You can soar into the world of nobility, my friends, by visiting highlandtitles.com and become a lord or lady today. Use the discount code COSMIC to receive 25% off your order. That's highlandtitles.com and use code COSMIC. So this is why it comes down to the X-Men. One, Kevin Feige is bringing all of the past X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Keep in mind, Kevin Feige worked on the very first X-Men film as an associate producer, and he pretty much worked on about everything after that. X-Men 2, X-Men The Last Stand, Daredevil, Hulk, The Punisher, the Spider-Man films. I mean, he was there for it all, and that's why he's kind of perfect to make Secret Wars, because he can bring all these variants, all these old characters that he worked with before into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and according to past reports from insiders, he is doing this for a very specific reason. One is to make it to where these actors can say they were actually a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It didn't exist back then with the X-Men and Spider-Man, etc. And a lot of the actors that Kevin Feige really loves said that they wish they could have been a part of something like the MCU. So this is his way of doing that. He's bringing those characters, those actors, into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but according to reports, he's doing this so he can say goodbye. So we can have a proper send-off of those X-Men, of the original ones that came before. We can say goodbye before the new X-Men come in. So this is where the X-Men could either make Kevin Feige stay or make him leave. He could say goodbye when he says goodbye to those X-Men. He could say, this is what I've done now. I've brought all these people that I know and love, these characters that I know and love, into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I made Avengers Endgame, I made Avengers Secret Wars, and now with the X-Men, I am saying goodbye myself, and now I am heading over to Star Wars to start something new, to start the next chapter of my life, because we understand how that is. He's done this for so long, perhaps he wants something new. However, at the same time, the new X-Men are coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is something that I imagine he's going to want to be a part of. That's how he got his career started, with the first X-Men film, and now he is the president of Marvel Studios and in charge of casting and creating the story for new X-Men characters. Not only that, but interweaving the story of all of these X-Men characters into the connected Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is huge, and that is something that could definitely keep him around. I can very much see him staying specifically to make sure the X-Men are handled appropriately. And let's face it, we've heard a lot of tea recently. We've heard a lot about the drama that's been going on over at Marvel Studios recently, but we've never really heard that Kevin Feige is fed up with everything. Yes, Marvel Studios has had some misses recently, but let's not forget about all the hits that they've had as well. Plus, they have really big projects coming up like Captain America Brave New World, the Daredevil series, Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman. Loki is incredibly big right now, with the finale coming in only a few days. And of course, the next two Avengers films, Avengers Kang Dynasty with the Fantastic Four in between, and then Avengers Secret Wars. There's a lot of really big things coming up that I'm sure Kevin Feige is really excited about. So right now, could he be thinking about leaving? Yes, it could be a thought in the back of his head, because Disney could have simply said, hey, if at any point you want it, you got Star Wars. You can take it over. You can do your thing. We trust you. I'm sure to some extent that conversation has happened, especially since he's going to produce a Star Wars film. So that combined with Avengers Secret Wars basically going to be a soft reboot for the MCU, and the next phase basically almost going to be starting from scratch, Kevin Feige could decide that somebody new might be best for that. I built my universe. I built it up from Iron Man to Avengers Secret Wars, and now it's kind of being reset. So now somebody new should take over a new universe. And I'll leave with pride, knowing what I have accomplished, and I'll go over to Star Wars and give it a go. We honestly don't really know if it's going to happen or not. Like I stated, it could really go either way. Kevin Feige could call it quits after Secret Wars, or decide that he wants to be a part of the X-Men and the new universe after Secret Wars. What we do know is that clearly it seems that if he wanted to take over Star Wars, the option for him to do so is on the table. Will it happen? Well, We'll have to wait and see, but let us know your thoughts about this. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Do you hate it? Are you in love with it? Do you think he would do really well over at Star Wars? Do you think Star Wars would benefit from this? And do you think Marvel would really suffer from this? Let us know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, of course, to stay up to date on the MCU, and so you can enter our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner picks one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. You have to be subscribed and leave comments on our videos. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter as well, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.